Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for joining this edition, this 2022 edition of Young Career Planners. I'm so glad that you're here this afternoon. I'm hoping that you will go away with a lot of insights. You would take a lot of information away from here that would also help you to expand your career horizons. That's the theme for this year. We would want you to expand your career horizon. Just before we go ahead, I would just like to go through a bit of housekeeping. Next slide, please, on housekeeping. Thank you. So agenda for today, there's the housekeeping. We're going to have opening address from the host. We'll be speaking, you've got some speakers. We've got a speaker talking about expanding my career horizons. And I'll tell you a little bit about her much later. We will watch life lessons videos. There'll be a talk around journey to internship to be done by an intern. We have also 4 young professionals that will be sharing insights about their career journey so far. And I would want you to have your pen and paper, take notes. And if you've got questions, you've got the chat box, please put your questions in the chat box. We would have short breaks. We're hoping to be done by 6:30, thereabout or before that. So don't be in a rush, just relax and be ready to learn and soak in information that would help you as you plan your career. Would also have another guest speaker talk to us about using LinkedIn effectively. We'll have the Q&A, question and answer session, where you have the opportunity to then ask the speakers questions directly and they can answer you. And then, of course, there will be opportunity. We'll be asking you for feedback as well. So along the line, please don't get tired. We would ask you to go to slido.com to complete survey, quick survey. I think we'll probably ask you once or twice or thrice to do this for us. And it's important that we gather this information so that we can ensure that we're catering to the right audience. Okay, housekeeping. If you can go on to the next slide, housekeeping. Yes, so please mute your microphone. If you're not speaking, mute your microphone. If you want to speak or you have a question, you know how to use the raise your hand button in Zoom, raise your hand. Would ask you, we'll call on you, ask you to unmute yourself, ask your question, and once you're done, would ask that you please mute yourself back. Of course, we'd like to see your faces as well, but bear in mind that we're recording this and we're streaming live as well. So if you don't want to be seen, then please switch off your camera. Otherwise, we'd love to see your lovely faces. We ask that you respect others when you're asking questions, when you're passing a comment, be polite, say nice things. It's a lovely community. It's a safe environment. We just want to enjoy ourselves, learn, and feel free to ask questions. Okay, so let's talk about Course for Children. This organization that's bringing this event to you is called Course for Children. Course for Children is not for profit. We aim to continue to empower young people like yourself to thrive. We have 3 initiatives. First one is Truly to Hero Awards, where we recognize efforts and achievements of young people all over the world, especially in the UK, that are doing brilliantly. We recognize that we have an event specially for that. We're going to open that event in sometime in August to submit nominations. So please be on the lookout for that. We also have workshops. If we can move on to our workshops slides. Yeah, so we also deliver life skill workshops to young people. We want to equip you with skills that you can take with you even in your journey in life, you know, we've grown skills around money management, project management, website development, you know, awesome workshops. So every year we run workshops for 4 months, 4 consecutive months. So watch out for our 2023 workshop. Don't miss them. I can tell you that, don't miss them. Okay, and then the third thing that we do is leave it there, okay? And the third initiative that we've got is our career, the Young Career Planner event. That's another initiative being brought to you by Course for Children, and that's why you're here today. This is one of that we started last year. Last year was beautiful. I think you saw the feedback that we received. We showed you a short clips of that earlier on. We're hoping to get even better feedback this year and continue to improve on it so that we continue to empower you with skills and make you employable or make employability at ease for you, something that you can easily get jobs and find jobs that are suitable for you, where you have a career that is that you enjoy and you're thriving in them. Okay, so the survey, I've got a survey opened, and if you can spare me 1 minute, if you can scan that QR code, go to slido.com. The event code is #career 2022 career 22, and please answer that question for us. We've just got 1 minute to do that. So that's slido.com. Please just spare us a minute to do that and answer that question. We just want to get to know you. So please do that for us. You can scan that QR code quickly and it takes you straight to that survey, or you can Google slido.com, www.slido.com, and it will ask you for your career, the code, and you just type in #career 22, capital letters, just like you can see on the screen, capital letters. Please do that quickly. Thank you, thank you. I can see some of you are there, but I need to see more people there. If you're having any problem, please put the question, put the comments in the chat box. Okay, got 30 more seconds and we're moving on. Okay, thank you. We're moving on now. So I think it's a bit funny because I'll be introducing myself now. Isn't it funny? Well, it's not funny. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Titi Omole. I'm the host and founder of Course for Children Limited. I'm a graduate. I studied computer science and economics as my first degrees, and I've got masters in business administration as well. I'm a product management professional, I'm actually a product owner, and I'm also agile project management practitioner. I started my journey as a project management, and I'm very, very comfortable in agile project management. I'm a member of Women in Tech. I love technology, and I love to see more women in technology. We need more women in there. I'm a mom, and I'm an author as well. My book is, I've got children's book, and this one is called Liz and Laz, and the Secret Code of the Magnificent Book. If you want to find out more, it's on Amazon, and just go and buy it to support. I'm not soliciting for that, but I'm just telling you a little bit about myself. I love event management. I love planning. That's my life. And I love home stage. I'm an home staging enthusiast. I just love things to look nice and perfect, beautiful. I love beautiful space, beautiful environment. That is just me. So today, I'm going to be talking to us about the mindset for Horizon expansion. But before I start talking, I want you to sit back and watch this video. So I'll be sharing my screen, and I want you to sit back and watch this video. Two of them fell into a deep, dark hole. The others gathered round and anxiously looked down. They could just make out the shapes of the two frogs at the bottom. When they saw how far down they had fallen, the others shouted down to the two frogs that it was far too deep for them to jump out. However, the trap frogs ignored their warnings and tried their best to get out of the hole. The other frogs watched for a bit, and then started shouting down to them and waving their arms, saying, "It's too deep, you can't get out alive." Eventually, after many failed attempts, one or two frogs saw the truth in their words. However, the remaining frog continued using all of his strength to jump, despite the others shouting that his efforts were useless and that he should give up too. Then, after a mighty leap, the second frog miraculously made it out of the hole. The other frogs surrounded him and asked in disbelief, "Didn't you see us pointing and telling you it was too deep and you should give up?" The free frog replied, "Oh, you see my hair is so cool, but I'm rich hero waving me out throughout the whole ordeal. That really motivated me to keep on trying even harder, despite the other frog giving up." Encouragement and motivation are two powerful ways of helping yourself and others achieve apparently insurmountable challenges, obstacles, and objectives. Equally, negativity, discouragement, and unkind words can quickly demoralize people, and you too. Especially if you allow negative self-talk to enter your mind and sabotage your future successes. Self-motivated people don't allow the negative words and behaviors of others to harm their own inner resolve, self-esteem, or self-confidence. Instead, they set their own standards and measure themselves against those standards. They then learn from their mistakes and move on stronger and with confidence ready to create and celebrate future successes. Can you recall a situation where you chose to be one or other of the two frogs who fell in the hole? What was the impact? And what did you learn from it? Have you inadvertently discouraged or demoralized others around you? So next time you think of tasks impossible, remember the story of the two frogs and choose the power of persistence and positive. Thank you very much. And if I may ask, yeah, thank you. Okay, so we're going to be talking about, I hope you've watched that video and you've learned the lessons of persistence, and you're going to need that as you seek to expand your career horizon. Now, I think it's important that we talk about the reason why you should expand it in the first place, and then move on to the mindset that you need to have in order to expand your career horizon. So let's start about why. Why do we need to expand our horizon? We need to do that so that we're aware, so that you and I, we're aware of opportunities and possibilities that are out there, so that we can make informed decisions. If we box ourselves up and we don't bother to look out at what's around us, we will miss out a lot in terms of what we can achieve. The second thing that we also reason why we need to expand our career horizon, or why you need to, especially since you're young, you're just coming up, is also, it gives you that ability to actually take action, to be open-minded to changes, because the world around us it's changing. So when you have that mindset that you want to expand your career horizon, you're open more to changes. You can change your career. You know, you're not feeling frustrated that you're boxing on one journey. You can, and you're not afraid of the unknown, because you've looked around, you have an idea of what's out there, or you're even willing to explore more. So you're not afraid to take that, because if you're fearful, you may not, you won't be able to go for those big roles, because you just be afraid that, oh, shall I go for this? Shall I, am I qualified enough? But when you expand your horizon, you learn, you get a lot of information that would give you that confidence that you won't be afraid to reach out. And the next one. Oh yes, you avoid frustration. Getting yourself bogged up in a career that you hate so much. If you widen your career horizon, you would see there's a lot of things out there that you can do that would make you feel fulfilled, instead of being boxed up in a career that you eventually you think, oh, why am I doing this job anyway? Have you ever heard of, there used to be an advert, Love Mondays, and that Love Mondays came about of people just hating to go to work on Mondays. There are people that every day to them is Friday, whether it's Monday or Tuesday, they just love their work. You want that kind of career, not the one that, oh, you think, oh my goodness, it's Monday, I have to go to this work. Then the last one, around expanding your career, of course, gives you opportunity. We all want to make money, don't we? Yes. But to make that money, you need to be very, very good. You need to be skilled. You need to own your skill sets, whatever role you are, you need to. And there's a survey, a research that says that, you know, the average half-life of a skill is now about 5 years, and it continues to shrink as technology continues to grow. So we all have to, at some point, after 3 years, even before 3 years, you need to skill you up. You need to look out what's out there, what's coming up, and try and find a space in that what's out there where you can fit into and develop new skills so that you can operate very well in that area and earn very well. Okay, so let's talk about the mindset for horizon expansion. The first one is persistent. From that video, there are some things in life, there will be difficulties in life. I mean, you know, there might be big companies that you've heard a lot about them, even the word, saying the company name alone, you think, oh my God, this is not for people like me. You know, you need to be persistent, or people around you might say that even to people around you, and they might say to you, you know, do you think you're clever enough to do that? You're going to be hearing from our speakers in terms of their journey, how they have gone ahead to gain their own roles. You know, so you need to be persistent, whether it's difficult. There might be certification in some role that you want to do, so you've got to take exams. You know, there might be situations that the exams that you didn't pass it. You have to be able to keep on moving and do that exam again and again. As long as you are convinced that that is the role you want to take, then you need to be persistent in order to expand your horizon in that area. And it's okay to make mistakes as well. When you make mistakes, you learn from your mistakes. So don't be afraid. You need to have that mindset, persistent, because it's not everything that's going to be hunky-dory. I have to say that, but be persistent. Next one. Resilient, able to withstand and recover quickly from difficult situations and conditions. You know, there will be situations like that. I mean, I've heard of people that have submitted like 100 application or more, and only 3 go back, only 3. And, you know, you have to just get up again and not be discouraged and keep going until you get to till you get what you want. So don't be afraid. Set your face like a flint. There's a word like that. Set your face like a flint. Just keep looking. This is the role I want, and I'm gonna get it, regardless of what will come my way. If I have to do this, do that, you know, I have to do it and ensure that I get to where I'm going. I would not be distracted. I wouldn't listen to negative words. The third thing is to be optimistic. Yes, it's very, very important. Always see the other side of the better side of things, the good side of things. Don't be, let me see this. Don't be afraid. Don't try and see the positives out of something. Yeah, there's a saying, they say the pain you feel today is the strength for tomorrow. And that's it. That's a mindset that you need to have. That's, you know, whatever I'm doing, whatever I'm going through today, it's strengthening me up so that I can be stronger for tomorrow. Always see the glass as half full, not half empty. And, you know, if there's a certain role that you like and you think you're not doing so well in the subjects that you need to do in order to get there, seek help. Look for somebody that's very good in that area to help you, to give you those nuggets. Could be that, you know, it's 1 or 2 things that you're missing. Go to them, ask, but stay positive. Don't be put off by any discouragement or any negative response that you might, or any issue that you might have moving forward. Don't be discouraged. Just keep going. Stay positive. Stay positive that everything will be all right. The next one is self-belief. Believe in yourself that I can do it. Your ability is very important. So self-confidence is the foundation of all great success and achievement. Brian Tracy said that. And it's true. You need to be confident. Nobody's going to be confident for you. You see, some people go for, they go to interview, and sometimes they're just saying some things, even they themselves, once they said it, they thought within them, they thought, oh my goodness, I'm not sure if this is right or not. But they're saying it confidently, because once you panic and you don't believe this in yourself, you know, it just waters all your efforts down. So be confident. Once you stand up there, be confident, say it. And if you have to go back again and reflect on what you've said, and, you know, pick all those negatives, or maybe I shouldn't have done that, I shouldn't have done that. At that point that you're saying things that you're in front of your employer or your interviewer, be confident. Be confident in what you do. And the last one is think outside the box. I said to you, half-life of a skill now, they said is 5 years or less, is shrinking. So everybody needs to think outside the box. Once upon a time, if someone had told you that you can be in a car that is just without a driver, you know, you're just sitting in the car, it's just going by itself, you would say, no way. People would say, I know people from my generation then, you would say, no way, I'm not going into a car like that. Well, we started to see that they're introducing cruise control has become the norm now. People just relax and not even put their hands on the steering. So think about the box. Think outside the box, sorry. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't limit yourself. That's the world we're in. There's a lot. I learned about a role today, content creator. Yes, I know their content, but I didn't know that actually someone can that's their role. They just create content, beautiful videos. And we'll be hearing from one of our speakers who's going to be talking about the creative world. So I just want to leave you with this quote. It says, the more you see, the more you understand. So I want to encourage you to keep looking, to keep yourself out there. Look for opportunities. What's there? Don't box yourself in. Look in, look out, and you'll be surprised what's out there, what you can do. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with that to ponder on. And next I'll be introducing our next speaker to you. And her name is Lola. She's a graduate of economics. She's a master's in human resources. She's the lead consultant at Clarity Port. She loves fitness and cooking. She's got 2 boys. She's a wife, and she loves to set people up for success in their careers. I know for sure that is what Lola is all about. And I'm just going to open the floor to Lola to take it on from here.
Okay, thank you, Titi, for the introduction, and thank you to everyone. I just want to say a big well done to all of you who have joined the conference this afternoon. You could have been somewhere else, but what this is saying to me is that you strongly believe in yourself and you're making time to invest in your career and to invest in your future. So a massive well done to you. For me, there is time for everything. I believe in having a very well balanced life, time to socialize, time to have fun with friends and family, time to nurture the talents that you have been given. And so this is the time for you to come here and upskill yourself and nurture your talents, and time to give back and do things that give us joy and give us reward. So one thing I like to say is that it's never too early to start planning your career. And we have many young people here, and I've been in a conference where you've got people as young as age 10 wanting to have career, start to plan for their career and have career success. So it's never too early and it's never too late. So being here today tells me that you are ambitious for career success and you take your future very seriously. And I hope that your time here will yield you successful results. So this session, please, I'd like you to really, really engage with me. I like people to, I want this to be an interactive session. So I'm not just going to be talking to you. I would really love for people to interact with me and make this a very fun session. Slide 2, please. Okay, so we're here to talk about expanding your career horizons. Titi has already introduced me, so I'm conscious of time, so I won't bother going through another bit of introduction. So next slide, please. So in terms of our discussion points, I like structure. So I've put a structure together in terms of these are the things that we're going to be talking about today. So the first thing is we're going to be looking at the point, your career. Second one is about positioning yourself for that career expansion. And the third point that I'd like to explore is around calling us to action. So it's good to have all these discussions, but let's put it to action. And that's when we're going to be looking at what is it to have a career vision board, and then we'll take questions. And before I move on to the next page, this is the bit that I need you to engage with me. Can you have a look at the post here? And I'd like someone to just put up their hand, to see if any of the posts resonates with them. So we've got one that says the future depends on what you do today. Another one, the belief that you can have a meaningful career is the first step to finding one. The other one is the key to success is to start before you're ready. So a lot of us here today, young people that, you don't even know what career you're wanting to venture into, but you're here because you want to start preparing. And then the last one is ask yourself if what you're doing today is getting you closer to where you want to be tomorrow. So you're here today to look, to attend the conference on how to broaden your career horizons. That shows that speaks strength. So somebody's got their hand up. Talks Shonawa. Hey, you need to unmute.
Yeah, sorry, my camera is not on. But what comes to mind for the first one is if you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail.
Thank you very much for that. That to me speaks volumes. So thank you for sharing that. Anyone wants to have a go at any of the other posts? Yes, we need to engage with everyone here today. Okay, we can't be this quiet on this session, please. I need you to engage. Thank you so much, Stokes, for that, for opening up the floor. Anybody else? Okay. So I wouldn't like to take any more time because I'm just conscious of how much time we've got here. Okay, the screen is gone blank now and I can't see anything. Okay, can you still hear me? Because I can't
Yeah,
see anything.
we can hear you and the screen is on, your career.
Okay, so my screen is actually gone blank here, so I'll
Okay.
carry on talking.
Yeah.
Okay, so in terms of, so let me just see what. So let's talk about your career. That's the first point on our discussion points. So your career, I would like to explore three things. The first one is exploring and choosing what career is right for you. Second one is about your career vision. And third one is what are the practical steps that you need to have to take to successfully navigate your career journey. So in terms of that, one thing I want to talk about around that is when you're looking at your career, what does that mean to you? I know, we don't want to be going back to the basics, but the word career is often used to refer to a profession, occupation, a career define what you do for a living. The other thing I want to also refer to, which is quite pertinent, is it refers to the progress and actions that you have taken throughout your life in terms of your occupation, your educational achievements. And I want you to actually think about your journey now, where you're starting from. What are those steps that you're taking to building your career? I'm really conscious that I can't see my screen, but I hope you can still hear me. Can you still hear me?
Loud and clear. Okay.
Okay, great. So for some young persons here today, you may have already identified a career path or already making plans to achieving your career goals. For some, you might be unsure, and your attendance here today is very much about finding out more in terms of how you're going to carve out your career journey. Again, I need some engagement from people. Can I ask two people who have already established their career plans, who have an idea of what they want to do in terms of career, to talk to us about their career plans? Any volunteer? I can't see any hand up because I can't see my screen. And I don't know if Titi can help me if we've got any volunteer who can talk about what their career plans are.
I can talk a bit about my career plan. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, thank you. Sorry, what's your name? Can you introduce yourself? I'm so sorry, I can't see the screen.
So this is Sadiq. I'm also going to be speaking later on. And in terms of my career plan, I think for me, I'm trying to be open-ended. Before, I used to have a very, very strict career plan. I need to be here by this time. I need to be here by that time. But as much as I need to plan, I also feel like for me personally, sometimes I just have to let God take the wheel. So planning for me is more about being prepared, being ready. Every year, I try and go for a promotion, or every year I try and raise my salary. I also make sure that I'm continuously developing myself. So if I do decide I want to go for a more senior role, or if I want to branch out into another role that requires different skills, I'm ready. Even though I don't know what's going to happen, even though I don't know if I want to still be here in 5 years or if I want to be there in 5 years, I want to make sure that when the time comes, I'm prepared so that I can make that sort of decision.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Sadiq, for sharing that with you. That is so inspiring. And to actually see that, the theme of progress, to say you're doing something, you're aiming for career progression, you're also aiming for salary increase, and you have not pigeonholed yourself into a box to say, I want to be versatile. I want to be able to expand my career horizon that is great to hear. And I hope others can learn from that to say, actually, for you to kind of broaden your career horizon, you need to be doing something new, you need to have a clear plan. So thank you very much, Sadiq, for that. And I'm going to move on quickly to talking more about the importance of having a career plan. What is a career plan? Is that ongoing process? And again, just to kind of refer back to Sadiq's example, which is about doing things and having a clear plan. It's an ongoing process through which somebody will set career goals and identify the means to achieve them. I feel like Sadiq has already kind of given a clear description of that. It's that deliberate process. Again, you can see from example that Sadiq gave, he is very deliberate in terms of the process of becoming aware of self, the opportunities, the choices that he's making, identifying career-related goals, career path, education, and really, really looking at having a clear direction and in order to attain a specific career goal. So one thing that I want to encourage you all here today is to be very intentional and to be very deliberate in terms of where you're going. So that, say for example, you're planning a journey to, I'm just trying to think of a place, maybe, let me just try and think of, I'm just gone blank in terms of places. So let's say we're going to Cardiff, for example. You can get there through a variety of ways. You can go on the train. I know you can get there from Euston, from using the train. You can drive or you can fly to Cardiff, and or you can get a coach. So look at all these 4 different methods of getting to Cardiff, but you need to plan your journey. If you're going by car, how long is it going to take you? The same thing that when we are embarking on our career journey, we need to make sure that we have a clear plan. What are the vehicles that we're going to be using to make this journey? Who is going to help us, on our way? So it's all these things that I need you to kind of think about and becoming really deliberate in this career journey. Can we go to the next slide, please? What slide are we on? Slide 5 now? Because I still can't see my screen.
Positioning yourself for career expansion.
Lovely. So one of the points that I'd like to just cover quickly, because I'm conscious of time, is how you have to own your career. This is so important. Again, I'll refer to Sadiq's point, which is around, is decided in terms of this is what he wants to do. He's taking ownership of his career. Whatever we want to do in terms of our career, whether you've identified what you want to do, there may be some people, I know the typical ones would be, you might want, there are lots of roles out there. It's unbelievable how many new roles are evolving. So it's about looking at that role that aligns with your skill set, with your knowledge, and really, really saying, this is, once you've established, this is what I want to do. And what I say to some of the graduates that I coach is, whilst it's good to be very clear, do you have a plan B? Do you have a plan C as well? So have a clear understanding of what you want to do in terms of your career, and then own it, have a clear career pathway. Identify a role model or a mentor. Okay, so on LinkedIn, I am a big fan of LinkedIn, and you have so many professionals on LinkedIn. Have you identified someone that you think, oh gosh, this person is a content creator, and the last 5 years, this is what they've done to get to where they are now. Let me link up with them and find out, how they can support me in my journey, how they can sponsor me. And it could just be a regular chat and support. They could invite you to webinars. I can testify to this, how I've connected to people who have mentored me and people that have equally been supported too. So I would say identify a role model or a mentor that you can look up to, who can support you and hold your hands on this journey. Some of the mentors that I've had, they've supported me in terms of coaching, they've supported me in terms of even linking me with other people that have brought businesses my way or people that have offered me work. So the role of a mentor is bigger than what we can ever think about. So please If you haven't already found yourself a mentor, please try and find one. It could be a friend of a friend. Just LinkedIn is a good place to start. The final one is networking, and I know one of the presenters is going to be talking about LinkedIn. There are different ways to network, but I won't spend too much on that. But LinkedIn is a good place to start networking. You can join groups, groups that are of interest. If you're looking to go into a career in IT, there are lots of groups on LinkedIn that you can sign up to. And these are good places to learn, and also not just to learn, where you can also share ideas as well. Next one, please, and I'm conscious of time. The next one, if you can film an idea of what your career vision in mind, what would that look like? What would that look like if you have a career vision in mind? Does anyone, young person here today, anyone wants to kind of just share what career vision they have in mind? I know for Sadiq is already there in terms of living his career vision. For someone who hasn't started at all, that you're just thinking, you have this career vision in mind and you want to birth that career vision, can you step out, and share that with us? Any hand up that wants to just talk about their career vision? And you might think, oh, I don't, this is probably too big, or this is too small. Nothing is too small and nothing is too big. We all started somewhere. So please, can somebody share their vision? The vision that they've been thinking about. I remember many moons ago that I want to be a doctor, I want to do this. But come on, let's hear that vision. Titi, can you see if anyone's put in?
Come on, guys. It's a safe community. Don't be shy. Talk about it. I know some of you, that's why you're here, and you have a picture in mind what you want to do. So tell us about it. Just share it.
Okay. You want to broaden your career horizon, and this is a place where you want to start. So you've been given this platform. Please feel free to share that with us. And if there's any support that we can offer you, this would be a good place to start that. Do we have anyone?
Yeah, okay. Dirichi's hand. Dirichi's.
Okay.
Hello. I don't want to speak ahead of those who are also just starting out, starting out in their, or who are about to start in their own careers. But as you said, your goals are like a constantly moving, post. So although I already have a career myself, I still have a vision for what I want my career to be. And I'm not thinking in terms of where, I'm not thinking in terms of what I want to be doing, but more so how I want to be feeling. I know that the things that are important to me are mobility. So I want to be able to travel between, Nigeria, where I'm from, and London, where I live, if needs be. So I want to have a career that lets me do those things. Obviously, I want to be well off. I don't want to have to struggle to put food on my table and a shelter over my head. And I mostly want to enjoy what I do and have control over what I do. I don't want to feel as if my destiny is in the hands of somebody else. So those are like the larger, the vague goals that I have for myself for my career long term.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And the themes I'm hearing across is entrepreneurship spirit here. Don't want to be caged by anyone, want to do things in my own time, wants to have control of what I'm doing. So that sounds really, really good. And I hope that inspires someone that, when you have a vision, you can talk about it. And, this is a good place to start thinking about it. And I hope that what we're taken away from today will help us to start thinking about that vision. If you don't already have that vision, or you don't even know where to start, somebody's already given us tips in terms of, okay, let's just bring, let's just throw it out there. I want to do this, do that. And that is a good place to start. So thank you for sharing.
Let's hear from Irene. Irene, if Irene raise her hand, if you can quickly share.
Okay.
I think I'd like to be a lawyer. I'm Judah, sorry, I'm not Irene, Irish son. I'd like to be a lawyer. I watched a series on Netflix called Suits, and I think the prospect of being a lawyer has really interested me. So I think that's where I'm headed towards.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And in terms of that, again, you've got that vision. How are you going to birth that vision? What are the goals? What are the kind of action to support that? If you're doing your GCSE, I don't know, do you want to quickly tell us where you're at the stage of your life at the moment?
So I'm entering the first year of my GCSE syllabus and really focusing on history and English and kind of, yeah, articulating my arguments is going to be quite important for if I'm going to be a lawyer.
Okay, that's great. And then so go to your career plan. If it helps, it's about, okay, GCSE, selecting the right subjects for your GCSE, putting yourself out there for when they're having debates in school so that it can help with your articulation and how you come across. Then once you do your GCSE, then what are the subjects that are needed for your A-levels to be able to secure an admission into a university that offers the course that you're looking to do. So those are the kind of things you need to start putting into place, and having that 5-year career plan will be a good place to start. So thanks, Jude, for sharing that with us. Okay. And I'm going to try and wrap up very, very quickly in terms of your career vision board. Your career vision board, what does that look like? I just want you to quickly have a look at this without saying too much about it. So what is a vision board? It's a display of items that will help you to visualize your goals. So can you see that vision board? Can everybody see that vision board? Because I can't see anything at the moment. Yeah, Titi, would you be able to let me know that the vision board
Yeah,
is
we
clear?
can. We can see the vision board, and I
Okay.
think everyone. Yeah. Okay. Please go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So what we've got here is a process in terms of how you can put your vision board together. So you've got the process. How do you get started? Finding your inspiration, building your vision board, getting creative about it, and just, you know, having that vision board. If you create a vision board and you put it in your room, every morning you see it, just like Jude mentioned, you can put a picture of a lawyer there or a judge, and that, you know, and just having to see that every single day to say, okay, this is the end goal for me. And then that will kind of give you inspiration. So start to look at your vision board and start to pull it together, put it in your room. This is, and then you've got an example of a vision board, somebody who is, you know, new job, wake up, joy, purpose, success, business owner, 5-year goal, money, meaning, best boss, travel, progress, not perfection. And it's really putting all these things together that you can visualize and say, yes. And then next year you can say, yes, I've done that. For example, with Jude, in a year's time, once it's done his GCSE, and he can say, yes, I've ticked that box off, I'm getting into my A-levels. And it's seeing that journey and just moving on and having that vision board coming into reality. Next one, I won't ask us to quickly put together a career vision board, but in your own time, have a look at this and have a go at putting your career vision board together. If we can move on to slide 10, which is on a final note, some of the key things that I just want to share with you. I wish we had enough time, but just to kind of just drop this on a final note, it's never too early or late to begin your journey. Know your skills and strengths. I want you to, if there's anything that you want to take away from here today, no matter how young you are, it's never too early and it's never too late for you to start your journey. All the tips that you're getting from here today, please take it away, start to do your skill audit and strengths, and I hope that will help you. You've got what it takes. I know Titi has already given us some nuggets in terms of, you know, encouragement, developing our resilience. You've got what it takes. It's time to start believing in your strengths. And finally, there are no secrets to success. Is the result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure. So the fact that you are here today, that's the beginning of your preparation. That's part of your hard work, okay? And next one, I'd just like to leave you with a quote for today. Your career is your business. It's time for you to manage it as a CEO. So if you don't already have that mindset, please take ownership of your career In order to expand your career horizon, you need to manage it as a business. People who start a small business, they just, the likes of some of those big businesses out there, they started somewhere small and then they've expanded their business. The same thing goes when it comes to managing your career and expanding your horizon. You manage it like a business, you write it down, you have a clear plan, and I will be saying you need to manage it as a CEO. And this is it from me. The future depends on what you do today. All the best to all the young people here today. I wish you all the very best. And that's it from me. And I'll be free to take questions.
Thank you. Please note your questions down. We would have a Q&A session, but please note your questions that you have for Lola. Please note them down. You can put them in the screen, in the chat, or you can write them down somewhere. And when we have a Q&A,
I'm going to log out and try to log back in because I really would like to continue. All right, then. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
No problem, Lola. So next, I'll be introducing an intern to you to tell you her journey, tell you a little bit about her journey into internship. Her name is Tishe Omole. She's currently completing her MECEng in a Master's in Engineering, Electrical and Electronics Engineering. Oh my God, we got that wrong there. She's an artist as well. She loves baking, music, and she loves traveling, certainly. So over to you, Tishe. I think what we'll do after Tishe, if we're still having a problem with, if any of our speakers, if they're unable to see their screen, I'm thinking maybe that was just peculiar to Lola. But if there's another issue with you seeing what you're presenting, then maybe we would ask you to present your screen instead. Okay, but for now, we would still have a single source. Yeah. Please feel free to post your questions. Thank you, Michael. Tishe, over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Tishe. I am currently an intern, but I'm also in the middle of completing my master's in engineering. I'm here to talk about my internship journey, how I got to where I am, and the lessons that I've learned so far. So my journey starts at a university careers fair, looking for internship opportunities, placement opportunities. And it was there that I found out about this organization called STEM Women. They host many events, both online and in person, aiming to network with, provide young women in the STEM fields opportunities to network, find job and internship opportunities, and just find out more about the industry. So I attended one of their online events during the COVID situation. And at this event, they had the opportunity for you to reach out to employers, recruiters for different companies, and communicate with them, find out about the opportunities they have, the work that they do. And whilst I was attending that event, I also took that time to share out my CV and my cover letter to all of these recruitments, to put myself out there, see what opportunities would be available for me. From there, I was then reached out to by a few companies, by one company in particular called Schlumberger, about an opportunity that they might have available for me. So they asked for me to participate in an online interview, and also they provided me with a presentation title just to give me an insight into the work that I'd be doing with them. So I conducted my interview. I put together a presentation in preparation for this interview, then finding out that it was above what they expected, but they took that in a very good light. They saw that I was very well prepared. very interested in what I wanted to do with their company, and it put me in their good books. And from there, I gained an internship opportunity with them for 9 months. I'm currently there. I've been there since January of this year, and my internship will be ending in September. So now I'm working there as an intern. My work focuses around leading a project on improving the carbon footprint at one of their sites. So looking into improving their electricity usage, what changes can be made to the buildings themselves to improve their energy efficiency, that sort of thing. And now I want to talk about the things that I've learned so far on this internship journey. So one of the key things is to prepare ahead. When I was attending the online event, I had my CV and cover letter already prepared for me to hand out to all of these recruiters. I found that it enabled me to find these opportunities and take these opportunities, inquire about these internships much easier, because I didn't need to think about creating a cover letter, putting together a CV to then present to them, because I already had it at hand. Another thing that was really important for me was reaching out and promoting myself. So obviously I reached out to these recruiters, but also reaching out on job sites. I know another speaker is going to be talking about LinkedIn, but that's another site that I use to reach out to these companies, to put myself out there saying, hello, I'm a such and such student. I'm looking for these opportunities. These are the skills that I've learned so far that I can bring to your company. And these are the things that I'd be interested in learning from you. Which also ties into another point, is searching for opportunities. So on LinkedIn, looking at job sites like Indeed, Reed, graduate jobs if you're just leaving university, that kind of thing. Another point that I wanted to make is being open to what comes your way. So I found when I was younger, I was very certain in the things that I'd be interested in, but by opening my mind to the other career options that are available to me, and finding out and researching more about the different careers that are out there, I found that I could access a lot more jobs. I found that it helped me to narrow down and further understand the career path that I'd want to take. And that leads into my final part about being introspective. Now that I'm currently doing this internship, I'm finding out a lot more about the working world, how to navigate it, how to network with your peers, and also finding out more about the area that I want to go into. So taking the time to look at the work that I'm doing, figuring out what aspects of my internship that I'm enjoying, which parts that I dislike more, and how I can then put together and note down these points so that when I'm pursuing my graduate jobs, looking for jobs once I've left university, I have a better understanding of what I'm looking for, where I want to go, and how I can guide myself down the path that I want towards the career that I want.
Okay, thank you so much, Tisha. That was very insightful. I'm hoping there are other young people on this call, they've taken notes in terms of your journey, and they've learned, and they've, gained some information that they will put to good use. Internship is very important. It's very good. So thank you for sharing your story with us. I know at this point we're meant to take a break, but because we're running behind, we won't be taking a break. So we're going to go straight to introducing our Yeah, thank you, Tokes. Yeah, we're supposed to take a break, but we're behind, so we're not going to take this break. We're just going to go straight onto our professionals, our 4 young professionals that are already doing work, doing life, and they're going to be sharing their experiences with us. And I want you to have your questions. You know, it would be a shame to have them and you don't have questions to ask them. So don't be shy. Ask whatever. No question is stupid. Just ask. It's best, as I said earlier on, be confident. Don't be afraid. Post your question. Thank you, Michael. Post your question in the chat box. We're waiting for them. So the first person I'm going to call on will be Sadiq. Sadiq is MI data analyst. He's going to tell you more about himself. I think he studied computer science, engineering himself, and he's got masters in financial markets. He's Nigerian, good. And he lives in South London. He's 26 years old. Wow. Hobbies, esports, Formula One, writing, historical podcasts, running small business, and transitioning from sports betting market to crypto. Wow, I want to hear from Sadiq. I don't know about you, but I want to hear Sadiq's story. So over to you, Sadiq.
Hi guys, nice to meet everyone. I hope you can hear me clearly. I hope you can see me clearly.
Yeah, can you see the screen? I think it's important so we don't. Yeah, okay. So
I can see the slide that shows me.
Yeah, that's it. You can see the slide. So that was peculiar to Lola. Okay, thank you, Sadiq.
Yeah, so just to introduce myself quickly again, I'm a data analyst working at Legal & General Investment Management. They are, I think, the top UK asset manager by UK assets, or second biggest if you include global assets. I think BlackRock is number 1. What else about me? Yeah, a lot of the stuff has already been introduced about me. I also like stuff like watching TV, I like watching films, I like watching anime. Someone mentioned that they watch Suits. Suits was my favorite shows for a long time. I used to try and pretend to be like Harvey. I used to try and pretend to be like Mike. It didn't really work out for me, but yeah, I love that show. But yeah, can we move on to the next slide? So just to give a very, very quick overview, I'm going to be talking about my experience on my journey here. I'm going to try and give you guys an overview of the data industry. I'm going to try and give you guys some more information on my role specifically and what I do. Then towards the end, I'm going to try and give you some tips and tricks in landing a role. And I'm going to try and focus that on the stuff that I think works for me in particular. So go back, sorry. So yeah, just to get into my journey, I went to St. Joseph College, which was an all-boys Catholic school in, where was it? I can't remember. I went there, done my GCSEs. For college, I went to St. Francis Xavier sixth form. I had a great time. Went to university. My time at university started off pretty terribly. I'd done computer systems engineering originally. I struggled a lot. I realized I thought I wanted to be a software engineer, and I realized quickly that I didn't. Once I got to know more what it was like, what you do on a day-to-day basis. So I really stopped enjoying my course. I ended up failing my first year twice before passing it on my third try, which means I'm very, very lucky. Most of the time, if you fail your first year once, or even if you fail it twice, most of the time you do get kicked off of your course. But I had a lot of support from the university. I had a lot of support from my friends, and I think I managed to turn things around when I tried to understand what was going on with myself, my issues with the course and all that sort of stuff. So in the end, at the end of the day, it's actually a very, very good thing in terms of what Titi was saying about persistence. Now it's become a positive. Like one thing I've noticed when I was doing interviews before, they always used to mention, okay, how come you was at university for so long? And then I'll say what happened, and then when they find out I ended up completing my course, I got a first in my master's as well. They really responded to that positively. So I think that's a story about how persistence can really help you. And after that, I had some businesses. Some of them I run till now. After uni, I was unemployed for a while, but then I got some roles. So I'll talk about that in the next slide, please. To give you an overview, I want to quickly talk about different roles in the data industry. So you have data scientists, you have data engineers, you have BI data analysts, and you have MI data analysts. Data scientists, they focus more on scientific techniques. So they use a lot of statistics, they use a lot of machine learning. Data engineers focus on collecting data, storing data, and transferring data. BI data analysts and MI data analysts are very, very similar. They focus on reporting for the business, but BI data analysts tend to focus on customers. BI data analysts tend to focus on products and customers, whereas MI data analysts tend to focus on the business itself, like performance and stuff. In terms of why I chose being a data analyst and why you might enjoy it is because data analyst is very project-based, which I think is what makes it different from software engineering. When you're a software engineer, you tend to get involved in really, really big projects, and it can be hard to see the impact you have, whereas a data analyst tends to work on smaller projects that you can see the impact directly because you're helping someone achieve something. And in that way, you also have a lot of freedom. Next slide, please. So to cover my day-to-day activities quickly, I do a lot of industry-related stuff, so I have to do a lot of research to understand our business, understand what we're trying to achieve, and understand where the industry as a whole is going. I manage a lot of projects, mostly data projects, but we work with a lot of data providers, vendors, services. So since I've come in, I tend to be the one to manage those projects, handle everything there, and manage the relationships with external companies. I also have to do a lot of data collection. I do a lot of reporting, and when I'm making those reports, that's where a lot of my programming comes into play. So I use Python, I use SQL or SQL, and I also use VBA. A lot of data analysts probably don't use VBA, but in the finance industry, people love spreadsheets. So VBA is very, very helpful. And I also do a lot of updating. So we have some static data sets that cannot easily be updated automatically. So normally I like to go in every week or every month or whatever and make sure those things are kept up to date. Next slide, please.
I've got a question. What's VBA?
VBA is, I can't remember what it stands for. It's Visual Basic for Applications or something like that. And what that is a programming language that is embedded in Excel. So when people use Excel, you know, there's a lot of formulas and stuff which you can use to achieve what you want. But if you want to do something more complex, there's a way to enable VBA, and then you can do things in a more programmer-friendly format. So if you have programming experience, there's actually a lot of stuff you can achieve in Excel via VBA. In terms of landing a role, you can see I've put a big star with research in the middle because I think this was the most important thing for me, is how I differentiate myself. On the right, you can see these are different sources of data where you can get research. So there's news articles, there's LinkedIn, there's other publications, there's industry research, and there's mission research. That last one is specific to the company you're applying for. So whenever I apply for a company, I like to find out, why does this company think they're different? And I try to resonate with that during the application process and during the interviews to show that I really understand them and understand what they think they're doing is different and how they're trying to achieve it. In terms of the basics like CVs, cover letters, interviews, experience, I think the most important thing with most of that stuff is practice. The more you do this, the more you apply, the better you're going to get. You have to see getting a job as a skill in and of itself. And when you're unemployed, getting a job is your job. So I think having that mindset is going to be very, very helpful. For CVs, a lot of people tend to have different CVs for different roles. I done the same thing, but I had different CVs for different. So if I was applying for technical business analyst role, I had a CV for that. If I had a data analyst role I wanted to apply, I had a CV for that. I didn't make them company specific because that kind of slows down how many applications you can make. When I wanted to adapt and when I wanted to show my research and let them know how interested I was in the company, that's all of that information is what I put in the cover letter. So I think that's what the cover letter is most useful for. For interviews, I think the best thing for me is a lot of people struggle in terms of how to approach interview. So they feel like they're either too formal or they're too laid back. They're not sure the best way to approach it. And for me, I think my best interviews have always been the ones where I managed to turn them into conversations. So the way I like to see it is when you're at an interview, for me, it's like a date, like taking a girl out on a date, or if you're a girl taking a guy or someone else out on a date. And the reason I say this is because when you take someone out on a date, you don't pretend to be someone else, but you also show your best self. So I feel like for interviews, see it as like a formal date. You're being yourself, but you want to show the best sides to yourself. You want to show how interesting you are. You want to show your interests, your hobbies. You want to show the things you can do. And I think when you approach like that and try and have a conversation, you know, if you're on a date and you're speaking to someone and you're asking them questions and they just answer and that's it. You ask questions, they answer, that's it. You're not going to enjoy it. You're not going to leave with an impression. But when you approach it like you're trying to have a conversation, you're trying to get to know each other, I feel like that's going to make a really big difference. And next slide, please. And yeah, lastly, just advice I want to give for anyone who ends up in the data analyst industry. I'd say be willing to reach out to your colleagues in tech. Even if they are not data analysts, they will be happy to help because everyone in computing loves to solve computing problems. So if you know of any software engineers, either now or in the industry, and you need help doing something, you need help achieving something, if you reach out to those people, they're always going to be willing to help. I'd say as a data analyst, make sure you spend a lot of time listening and understanding. Your role is very, very much focused on performance and management information. You're helping the business understand their performance, understanding their sales. So when you're building reports, it is really, really helpful if you can understand the people who are going to use these reports, what are they trying to see? What is the information they want to see? I want to say, make sure you keep learning, especially if you're going to be in the tech industry. You need to keep learning all the time, but in tech is particularly important because tech is moving so quickly. And I also want to say, make sure you know your value. When you are a data analyst and you do get experience, you need to be very mindful of the fact that you are having an impact and you need to walk with that confidence because that's going to affect your career as well. That's going to affect how people see you. The last thing that I didn't put on here is imposter syndrome, especially if you're a person of color or if you're a woman or if you're someone who feels like you're from a lower class than the rest of your colleagues. Imposter syndrome is something that you're probably going to experience. And I want to say that almost all of us go through that. You feel like you don't deserve to be here. And I want you to know and understand that you really, really do. The way society has made us feel plays into that feeling of we don't deserve to be here, we shouldn't be here, everyone here is better than me. But you are equal to everyone there. And if you land the role, you have deserved to land that role. So just remember to know your value. And I think that's it from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sadiq. I've learned a lot. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my goodness. I'm looking in the chat box. I want to see questions, guys. Except if you're everything as Sadiq said, you are 100% on top of it already. But if you're not, could you please just put your questions there for Sadiq? And I like that connotation, Sadiq, that, interview, just see it as you're taking somebody out on a date. It makes the conversation flow, isn't it? Nice and yeah. So thank you. Well, we're coming. There will be that's it. Put the question in the box. We're still going to have a Q&A session where you would then be able to ask them that question directly. But put your question, whatever question, so you don't forget. Put them in the chat box. Thank you, Sadiq. So at this point, I'm going to hand over to one of our directors as well, at Force for Children, who's going to be taking on the event on from here. I'm here, but he's going to be the one presenting. So I'll hand over to Michael to take it from here.
Awesome. Can everyone hear me? Everyone good? Everyone hear me? Super. How's everyone going? I mean, it's fantastic presentation so far. Hope everyone is having a great time. I've got my friend Rodney here. I've known Rodney for only God knows how long, pretty much since I was a little boy. Software engineer extraordinaire, serial entrepreneur. Rodney, take it away, introduce yourself, and let's get into it.
Perfect. Thank you, Michael. So I've known Michael for a very long time, kind of showing my age a little bit. So if we go to the next slide, please. I think this is like a great way to introduce myself, like who I am. Because I think for these type of presentations, it's good to know the person, like who he is or she is or who they are. And then you can kind of like build from their story going forward. So I think Sadiq mentioned earlier that he was an anime fan. So anyone who is also an anime fan will notice the first photo that's there. I'm also a damaged Arsenal fan too. I'm sure there's quite a few of us in the Zoom chat that probably share the same thing. I'm from Sierra Leone, so West Africa. I was born in Sierra Leone and I grew up in the UK. Now, a little bit about my education. So Michael and I, we went to St. Thomas the Apostle, which is a college, which is a school in Peckham. So very like humble beginnings. And I remember my early days of school, and I guess like a bunch of everyone who's here, you know, if you're in that if you're in that GCSE type of stage, you know, it's kind of like a difficult period. Similarly for us at the time, there was just so much going on in terms of preparing for GCSEs, thinking about what type of college to go to, what type of kind of like courses you would like to do at university. So there was a lot of pressure. And my parents were always saying, oh, you should be a lawyer or a doctor. And I think at the time, my parents wanted me to be a doctor. So everyone keep that in mind. At college, at school, I needed to be a doctor. So I was quite good at biology, chemistry, maths. And when I went to college, I studied biology, chemistry, maths, and economics. And I wanted to be a doctor. So I did all like the UK CAT test. Unfortunately, I didn't get into medical school, which I wasn't too fussed about because I think it wasn't what I wanted to do personally. Because I think growing up, sometimes you always want to do what your parents say for you to do, and you never really explore what you want to do. And I think at that time, I wasn't too mature as well to figure out exactly what I wanted and needed to do. But I think in terms of like my course options, I think because I did maths, chemistry, biology, and economics, it's kind of well-rounded. If I wanted to go into a mathematical university degree, then I could do that. If I wanted to do business, entrepreneurship, I could do that. If I want to go now along the medical route, I could also do that. So I think it's quite important to don't, unless you know specifically what you want to do. I think a young gentleman said he wants to be a lawyer. I'd say that's fine. But if you're not too sure, maybe pick some courses that give you some options in the future. And that was a fun time. I think I started getting internships just before university, and I can't recommend this enough. My first internship was with, I think, my local GP practice. And I think that's just such a good way to introduce yourself to the world of work. You know, waking up early, to doing the things that you need to do, and just time-wise as well. So skipping past school, university was great. I studied economics at University of Southampton, and economics was a really good degree because, again, it allows you to have options, right? It's quite a general degree that allows you to go into banking, finance, professional services, or anything really and truly. One thing I would recommend if you can when applying to universities is try and get a semester or a year abroad. So I spent 6 months in Hong Kong as part of my degree, which is absolutely amazing. Like from the food to the culture to the warmth. I was wearing shorts and t-shirts throughout the whole time, which was fantastic compared to my peers in Southampton. And going on to the next slide, please. So after university, I got a grad job doing banking. It was investment banking at the time, but I just found it quite dull, quite boring. So I quit my job. And as you can see with the memes, it was my parents' reactions there. My dad was saying, "What are you doing and why? Like, this is crazy." The reason why I quit my job is because in university in Hong Kong, there's a very rich entrepreneurship kind of like background. So everyone there is like doing exams, the same things like doing exams, doing your thesis, dissertation, all the boring stuff, or the useful stuff, right? But at the same time, they were also building businesses. They were trading oil, art, they were selling businesses. So it was a nice, rich culture. So when I came back to Southampton, I really had that buzz. I needed to continue that business. I had to do something. Like, I just feel like I couldn't just come back to doing exams. And what you can see on the left-hand side is the first business that I created called Vency, or me and my business partner created. And what we do is we were there before influencer marketing was cool. So we were there whilst there was only like Kim Kardashian's getting the big bucks, right? And our strategy was, instead of spending £1 million on Kim Kardashian, we will find, using technology, your best influencers that are maybe like you got 100,000 followers, or even like 30,000 followers. A lot of things that we see today. And it took a while, but we got there. Some of our clients are NBA, Arsenal, Formula E, some of the flagship clients. I think what you get from running a business is real like change. So everything you do has an output. Everything you don't do also has an output. So if you don't do something, if you don't prepare for a meeting, the meeting might not go so well. If you don't arrange that meeting, you will not have a meeting. Whilst I'm sure in the workplace, a lot of these things are kind of like done for you. Your manager will say, okay, this is how you set up meetings, etc. And you have to build all those systems in place. The one thing I learned the most from building a business was communication. I think it puts you at a massive advantage when you try and communicate, when you try and pitch, when you try and just do anything like negotiate, because you're put in quite extreme situations and you're left to sink or swim. It's a really, really nice way to get ahead of the curve, as well as like your network grows as well. So as you gain investors from VCs to angel investors, it really helps to have that network as well, which can be quite daunting. You can have imposter syndrome because especially when you're like young and Black and you're speaking to like people who are like 45, 50 and they're old, pale, not 45, they're not old, but they're, kind of old, pale male, people who have wealth. You find they need excellence. And if you don't achieve excellence all the time, it seems like you don't have the same opportunities others do. So that was kind of like a harsh reality, unfortunately, but I think you get used to it. You definitely do get used to it, and you kind of just up your level until you're there. And created another business called MV Gamer, which is like a betting business on esports. So like if you win FIFA, if you win your next game of FIFA, we pay out and all those type of things. Cool. And now to the final slide. So I'm the type of person that I enjoy a challenge, and I think with business, what's really good is that you get a real strong skill set of, like I said, communication, building teams, building processes, pitching, sales, getting investors. But I found quite recently that if you take that away, there wasn't really much to it. Economics, you're a generalist. You don't really have a specific skill, or like, I'm not like a lawyer, a Michael or Harvey Specter, if it suits. So I thought to myself, it would be really good to get some sort of technical skill set. So I started to learn to code. And I found it really tough at first. It's like a real huge mountain to climb in terms of the basics. But then you get a real buzz when you like complete a challenge, or you're able to build a simple application that is practical. And I think it's that challenge that I seek. And so for the meantime, I'm an advisor to those companies. And I've turned myself into a software developer now professionally. I went through a bootcamp called Le Wagon. And there's many, many ways to learn to code. You don't need to go through a bootcamp. A bootcamp is just a great way to consolidate your learning. So it's like 9 weeks intensive course that you pay for. And they teach you to code, essentially, like going back to school, literally. But after Le Wagon, what I found was really, really good to learn to code was Code Academy, or Codecademy. So it's like nice, intuitive lessons online about how to code. So if you want to do like Python, it's there, Java, Ruby, all these different programming languages. And it's all quite simple as well to get started, very easy, and it's free. It does take a while. So as you can see, it's been 84 years. It does take a while to become, I wouldn't say I'm at that level yet where I'm like there, but I aspire to be. So that's me. And advice, I think since I got a minute or so, my advice would be to network really hard. Put yourself in uncomfortable situations, because when you're put in uncomfortable situations, a lot of the time you will rise and you will prosper. So be confident, have faith, and I think everything, life recalibrates itself. Like it really has a way of making things okay over time. So be patient and really try and test yourself. But thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my story.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Roddy. Really appreciate all the insight, the journey. We've got a couple of questions for you later on, so hang around. We're going to go to our next speaker, Derichi. Derichi, you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Good. We can. We're just firing through. So hang in there, guys. We're firing through. We want to finish on time. So Derichi, please take the stage.
Sure. Thanks. I'll try and keep this within the bounds. So yes, my name is Derichi Ikenjoku. I was born and raised in Nigeria. I only left Nigeria when I turned 18 to go to university. I play football. I try my best to, but I get injured too often. So that was never a career option. I do love to dance as well, but also see the above points, I get injured. So it's not going to work. I graduated with a degree in electrical engineering from New York University, Abu Dhabi. New York University is a university in New York in the US, but they had a campus in the United Arab Emirates in Abu Dhabi. So I went there to study. And so I studied away in New York and also studied away in campuses in Sydney and Shanghai, which was fun. I'm currently a web solutions engineer at Google, and I'm currently studying for a master's in AI from Queen Mary University. And I'm passionate about machine learning and AI, even though I'm still a web solutions engineer. My hope is to transition eventually into machine learning. So thank you. So yeah, I already gave the spiel. This is just a repetition, but just wanted to call out some of the, I guess, the brand names I had been through. So I went to NYU, but I did an internship at IBM when in the third year of my university, because internships are very important and they kind of help you land your first job eventually. I also had a job as a software engineer at a little known company in London here called Alpha Sites before eventually working at Google. So next slide, please. Right, so I mean, what exactly is web solutions engineering, which is my current role? It's pretty much just software engineering. Google makes the distinction between web solutions engineers and software engineers in the sense that software engineers at Google are the ones that usually build products that are used by billions of users. So, yes, billions of users, very, very heavy applications like YouTube that everybody knows, or Google search. Whereas web solutions engineers usually build products on the order of magnitude of, let's say, hundreds of thousands of users or tens of thousands of users or thousands of users. I like the role because it's like a sweet spot between, deep software engineering, so building things that scale for users, for millions and billions of users, building product that people can see and relate to, but also on the other hand, actually being able to see the people that you build for. It's hard when you're building products. It's hard to get feedback from billions of people. So what a lot of companies do is that they staff somebody like a product manager or some data analysts or data scientists and make them specialize in getting that data from users. Whereas if you're building software for tens of thousands of people or hundreds of thousands of people, you can speak to them in real life and kind of get feedback about what you're building for them. And essentially that pretty much gives away why I do what I do. I like to build things for people and I like to see the feedback immediately in real time from people that, oh, this thing I built for you is really nice and it helps you save time or you enjoy it or you have fun on it. And I like to get that feedback. Maybe it's a bit selfish, but generally it's a very, very nice feeling to build things for people and see that it gives them, you know, it helps them accomplish their goals or entertains them. So next slide, please. So I gave a brief explanation about why I choose web solutions engineering, why in the first place I like the role, web solutions engineering. I want to give a brief overview of why I choose engineering in general, because you can, you know, start from engineering and branch off into many different things like electrical, mechanical, software. So I studied electrical, and I want to see that I had no idea what I was getting into when I started university. I liked math and I was good at math. That was pretty much it. I mean, nothing prepares you in secondary school for what real life engineering is going to be like. And I think that's not necessarily a good thing, but you have to play the cards you're dealt. What actually helped me discover my interest in engineering was doing the things that seemed like the things I was eventually going to do in my job as a software engineer or a web solutions engineer. So that was essentially taking project-based courses and doing internships. I put pictures of myself. I don't know, it's going to be really hard to spot me in this picture because I was clean shaven then. But that's a picture of me and my internship group at IBM. And on the right, I put a picture of some of the stuff I used to build on the side to kind of teach myself how to build programs. But essentially, the way I came to discover that I was interested in doing anything with engineering was by doing it repeatedly and trying to get good at it, and then deciding later that whether or not I was passionate about it. So I kind of invented passion for myself by saying, oh, I know I like games. I know I like playing football, or I know I like Pong or something like that. I'll try and teach myself to make the Pong game in code. And I had never written code at this point before. So it took me about 2 years to get this very small, ugly game that you see on the screen working. But I was so proud of it that it fueled my desire to pursue software further. So next slide, please. So some of the useful skills that will help in a career in engineering, web solutions engineering, software engineering in general, programming and computer science and mathematics, obviously. Mathematics, not necessarily because I never find myself doing long division in my job. Computer science too, like it rarely happens that I find myself using some of the concepts I learned in university and in my job. But the core technical skill that helps is programming, and you don't necessarily need courses to teach you that, although these courses will help, but you can do it yourself by taking courses online, not necessarily within school. You can take them within school, but you can take them online as well. But most importantly, trying to build these things yourself, trying to build projects for yourself that you're interested in. But what I find, in addition to these hard skills that I mentioned at the top, that actually really helps in a career in engineering is critical thinking, teamwork, leadership, and problem solving. A lot of this stuff is not really taught in school. A lot of this stuff you have to learn for yourself by working with people, by the way you relate with your friends, the way you guys argue, the way you discuss things, the way you settle arguments, or the way you discuss and solve problems amongst yourselves. Those things are like a reflection of how you associate with people in the workplace. And because engineering is a very team-oriented endeavor, you will have to relate with other people a lot. So even just your regular play sessions or your discussions with your friends are a mirror of how you will associate with people in the real world. And that skill is more important in the long run than hard skills, because it only takes roughly 2 years to get, as far as I'm concerned anyway, 2 years to get good at programming. And you have 40 years of the rest of your life to work. And the rest of those 40 years, you'll probably be associating with people more so than writing any code. Next slide, please. I love this role. I love my current role because I'm at Google at the moment, and they have a lot of really good perks. We get free food, we get gym facilities, we get games that we can play during work. We even get to sleep during work, which is I mean, my Nigerian upbringing will not let me do it, but it's an option. I also like the engineering, I just like the engineering field in general because it's, or this web solutions engineering field because it's a mix between software and business. I get to write code, but I also get to think about people and ask what they want and help them accomplish what they want through my software. I also enjoy the role because of the personal benefit it gives me. So a lot of the skills and a lot of the things I learn at work, I can transplant into my personal life. So I find that if I learn how to arrange work or break down a very complex programming task for the rest of my team or for myself, I'm able to take that same skill set and attach it, like use it to solve problems in my personal life. So if I need to deal with something, if I need to help my family organize something, or if there's a very hard problem that me and my friends are facing, maybe in terms of organizing trips or something, that seems like a flimsy example, but being able to take a very big problem and break it down into very small things is required for software engineering. It's something you pick up as you spend time working as a software engineer, a web solutions engineer, and it's a skill that you can transplant into your own lives. Also entrepreneurship, surprise, surprise, like everybody else on this call, I also have something I'm running on the side. But in terms of web solutions engineering, because in my day job, I get to build software for people and I get to ask them what they think about the software and take their feedback and put it into the software. I can do that outside of my day job. I can build applications that are hopefully profitable and send it to people and ask them for their feedback and use it to improve the software for them. Next slide, please. How to get a web solutions engineering role. I think this might be a little controversial, but I think people should try as much as possible to attend prestigious universities because unfortunately, the world isn't fair. Your CV, the first thing people will look at on your CV when you don't have a lot of job experience is the university you're coming from or your grades. So you have to game the system in your favor. If you can get a good place at a good university, you should as much as possible pursue it. It's fine if you don't get it either. Nobody in the UK knows NYU Abu Dhabi, and I've managed to get a job here. It's fine if you don't, but if you do, it helps you. The most effective way, as far as I'm concerned, to learn software engineering or to build software is to actually build software about things you're passionate about. So if you like to listen to music, try building out something that can play music. If you like to play games, try building out very, very simple games like I displayed on the previous slides. So that's in terms of like getting your interest up for software. In terms of interviewing and actually getting into the job roles, there are resources online that you could use. The most important one is LeetCode. LeetCode is a website where you can practice for software engineering interviews. And you will probably, for those who are interested in software, you find yourself using this probably in a year or two time when you start preparing for your first set of internships. Internships are very important because they prepare you for full-time roles and they make you a more attractive hire when you apply. And just as Rodney mentioned, coding bootcamps are also a really nice way to kind of beef up your software experience because in 9 weeks you get a lot of knowledge that people take 4 years to get. Next slide, please. General advice to close out. I want to say find something you're interested in and build it with software. Software programming is a completely different language. They are literally called programming languages. Nobody is passionate about the English language, but we all know how to speak it. That's the way I see it. So it's just a medium of expression. You don't have to be passionate about it. You just have to be passionate about what you're building with it. So if for example, I'm very passionate about games, what sustained my interest in programming was not that I was writing Python at 3 a.m. That sounds horrible. It was that I was building a game at 3 a.m., a game that I could play for myself because I enjoyed it. The second point is that non-technical skills are very important. Teamwork, just punctuality, just very basic stuff goes a long way in conveying the idea that you're a competent person and that people want to have you around on their team. And apply for internships early. It's not too late to apply. It's never too early to apply for internships. Try and get it. It's a good way to get money and get experience as far as I'm concerned. So it's a win-win. And it's only 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You have the rest of your day afterwards. So with that, I'll close out. And thanks so much for offering me the opportunity to share my experience with you.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you, Dirichi. I love that quote you mentioned there. If you find something you're passionate about and build it with software. So, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I hope everyone else on the course taking a lot of inspiration from that. It sounds like a super interesting role. And you get free food at Google if you land there. So can't go wrong with that. I've got a really special guest coming on. Her name is Linda E. She sounds like a pop star already, right? And you're going to love what Linda does, I'm sure. So Linda, I'll let you take the stage.
Hello, everyone. Hi. Thank you so much for this opportunity for me to actually speak about my journey. Cause for Children, TT, Michael, absolutely amazing. And a huge round of applause for the previous speakers as well. Very insightful, very interesting stuff. This is the kind of thing that I wish that I had had when I was younger. So it's so amazing to see something like this happening now. So my name is Linda E. I am what you'd call a multi-hyphenate. So I am a presenter, I am a commercial model, I'm also a content creator. So I actually create content for brands and different organizations, and I do some social media influencing as well. So I'm going to be talking to you today about front of camera creative roles. So just to kind of get everyone up to speed with regards to who I am and what I do and what I've done so far, credits to my name, shall I say. I was on BBC One's TV show, This Is My House. I've also been on the Big Nasty Show on Channel 4. I've also created content with BuzzFeed, the New York Times. I work as a freelance presenter for Currys. So I do tech presenting for them. I've also hosted virtual carnivals for Supermalt, who also sponsored a radio show that I had. I've also gone on to do campaigns with companies such as Adidas, Number 7, Kanika Minolta, GHD, American Express, and F&F. And I've also interviewed a huge bunch of stars like Burna Boy and Big Nasty, Davido, Weston, Yemi Alade, Rotimi, Rapman, and done loads of press at festivals as well. And that's me in kind of a nutshell. So that's what I do. If I could go on to the next slide. Can I just say firstly, I'm also a Suits fan. Jessica Pearson is my fave. And my slides are not as amazing as the other slides, okay? My talents do not lie in slide creation, right? So my journey into this creative world did not happen overnight. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to kind of list my credits and just let you know it didn't happen overnight. I know a lot of the times when you think of, in front of camera positions, you think, oh, this person was an overnight success, but that's typically not the way. And also, it's also important to remember that you can do all these things as a full-time job and not be famous. You don't have to be famous to be successful in these careers. And I think a lot of time people think, well, if you're not famous, then you can't do it as a career, but you can. But I didn't start off doing it. So I'm just someone who's always loved, entertainment. And I was very, very lucky that the primary school that I attended wanted some presenters for something called the CITV Kids Awards, which I'm sure a lot of you are too young to even know what that is, but that is a award show, a kids award show that you used to do on ITV. And my head teacher just knew that I was one of those people that are very talkative and very confident. And she asked me to do it, even though I wasn't the age group they needed. So at the age of 8, I was there on green screen, watching myself with my family on national TV. And I was just like, oh my God, this is what I want to do. I want to be famous. But unfortunately, that wasn't quite the case. And my father was a barrister. So it was definitely go to university, get that education. And there's nothing wrong with that either, because like one of the earlier speakers said, it's never too early or too late to pursue a career. So I did exactly what my parents wanted me to do. I went to college and I had a great time, because even when I did my A-levels, I still studied performing arts. So I was still able to have that creative flair. Then when I went on to university, I studied performing arts and English at university. And even during those times, so from about 15 to 18 is when I started dipping my foot a little bit more into the creative world in a professional setting. So I was doing things like theatre with the Young Vic. I was starting to understand what an audition was. And I was going for auditions now and again. I was working as an extra on like films. So random films, like 28 days later, I'm like a zombie playing dead on the floor. But this is just ways of me getting professional experience and actually understanding a bit more about the industry and things like being somewhere on time, making sure I have what I need to be on a set. Things like that came in really, really handy. But when I finished university, it wasn't overnight. I actually ended up working as a recruitment consultant. So I was recruiting nurses for the NHS, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with a role in recruitment. It just wasn't what was, making my heart beat. It wasn't my passion. So then I was just like, okay, what am I gonna do? So I started working in community radio. So places like community radio are a really good way for presenters, radio hosts, DJs to get experience. It allowed me a platform. It allowed me to do things that I love, like playing music and speaking to people. So I was doing that as a hobby. When I first started, because I was working a different job, I wasn't even able to do it every week. I started off doing a show like every other week, like twice a month, and it wasn't really quite it, but I was happy to still be able to dip my foot into the creative world. Then I went into recruitment, which allowed me to do the, community radio on the weekend, which I thought, yeah, this is fun. But my heart of hearts was still like, you know what, I think there's more that I want to do. So my very first step in terms of really making this a career was Google. And I know that sounds crazy, but you don't know what you don't know. So for me, I started researching, presenter jobs in London, this kind of jobs in London, just to see how do I apply for these things? Like, is there a way for me to do this? So that was my first thing, is research. So I definitely would advise people to research roles. And especially in this day and age, there's so much more available when it comes to camera facing positions. And I think that's when I'll move on to the next slide, if that's okay. With the rise of social media, by the way, that is a picture of me with my Adidas campaign in a store in Barcelona. I just want to throw that in there. With the rise of social media, there are other roles that you can do. So things like influencing, and you don't even have to be a person that has the 1 million followers or the 100,000 followers. There are niches now called macro and micro influencers, where you might have 1,000 followers, 7,000 followers, but you're still valuable to brands, and you can still charge for posts to be made and to create content for these brands. So I think the main thing to kind of remember is, yes, I don't need that slide yet, but it's all right. You can sit it there. So it's the last slide, so I know where I'll be going with it. Thank you very much. In terms of kind of camera facing roles or in front of camera roles in the creative world, obviously being an actor, presenter, but podcasting, that's something else that's really, really big. And you don't have to necessarily have gone to university or studied podcasting in order to be a podcaster. And that's why I kind of listed the different kind of roles that you can have, because I know a lot of you here right now might actually be like, actually, I got some bars, I could be a rapper, I'm a singer, and it's just a fact that these things are more accessible to us than they ever were before. I think there's been a huge shift in the creative industry when it comes to diversity and inclusion, and there's also schemes that are being run for, under 18s or under 21s to get into media positions. So definitely utilize them. But the roles I've listed here aren't the only creative roles that exist. There's things that are behind the camera, like being producers or being directors, script writers, runners, casting directors. There are so many creative industries and creative roles within the industry where you can still have it as a full-time job. You can still make money with this career and still be creative as well. So that's another thing. I feel like with the rise of social media and the internet, it's allowed us more access to these things. Whereas back in the day, if you look on your TV, it wouldn't be anyone who looks like us. Now there are more and more of us on our television screens, and more people doing things like being social media personalities, where they are known for either giving their opinions or, creating funny skits. Now we all have a mobile phone. We all have the kind of technology we need to create our own content. And that's another thing that I would say is, do not be afraid to start. Self-belief is something that has been talked about, and I think that is integral to any industry. All industries are competitive. You know, nothing comes overnight and nothing comes easy, but believing in yourself is really where it starts, because sometimes we have all the skills we need. Only thing that's missing is the confidence. So if you want to get into content creation, if you want to be the next Mo Gilligan and, you know, do comedy or Munya, then start creating a little something using your phone. Back in the day, yeah, we used to have access to studios, but now there's so much moving forward in terms of digital content that you can do a lot just from your own bedroom. Even with regards to podcasting, you can download free software on your laptops that allows you to record your vocals. And you know, most of our laptops now come with built-in microphones, or you might have things like AirPods or whatnot. You can use that and just start. I think the most important thing is to start somewhere rather than putting it off and thinking, oh, tomorrow. And that's what I learned, and really what I wish I'd done sooner. I wish that sooner I had that kind of belief in myself. So that's that. And my final slide is, you know, I mentioned it briefly. Do you need education in terms of, you know, working in one of the creative, in front of camera positions? And the answer is not necessarily. Yes, if you want to be an actor, there are prestigious acting schools that you can go to, and that's slightly different. But things like social media or becoming a presenter, you don't have to necessarily have gone to university and studied it there. You know, I know people who didn't study anything to do with presenting or journalism, but they've just been really passionate about creating content, really passionate about social media and just, you know, filming things on their phone, and they've done incredibly in their careers. So it's not 100% that you need that, but it could help. Like I said, for me, I've always loved the arts. So I always made sure that even when I went through education, I studied performing arts just because at least I could go to uni and be happy. Do you know what I mean? Other things that I would say definitely help within the creative industry is work experience. So I know we've mentioned this, internships and work experience. Collaborations, don't be afraid to collaborate with people who are doing something similar. You know, there's no point in doing this alone. And if you can collaborate with someone else, that's more creative juices flowing. And for example, let's say I'm a person with 500 followers on Instagram and I want to be a content creator, and my friend also has 500 followers. We make a post, instead of just going out on my page, it goes out on their page too. So that's double the viewers, double the people that can see you. But don't get hung up on views and likes, because that will definitely just drain your energy. Mentoring is another great way to move into media and TV. LinkedIn, honestly, is a great resource. You can find people's job roles in there, and oftentimes you can just pop them a message and say, look, I'm an aspiring this, that, and the other, and most times people will respond to you. But I would say, you know, you probably have to send more than one message to get a response, but don't take it to heart if people don't respond. The other thing I was going to say is, I mentioned it earlier, there are schemes for, you know, under 18s and under 21s to gain experience in different roles within media, radio, television, etc. So do utilize it. There's a lot more that is available to us and a lot more access to things of this nature now than we ever had before. And this is a really good time, especially for people from disadvantaged backgrounds, people of color, who can really get into digital creation, things in TV, and really sky is the limit. And networking has been some of the ways that I've got my biggest campaigns and my biggest roles just from who I know. And I do have this little saying that there's no point being the most talented person and no one knows who you are. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there. No industry is easy. Nothing comes just like that, but networking is such a huge force. And it just, honestly, there's no point in you being good at something and nobody knowing that you're good at it. So network across board, whether it's people that are where you want to be or people who are coming up with you, everyone helps. And I think the last thing I'm going to leave it with, just keeping it short and sweet, is really just go for it. You don't always have to have it figured out. You can start off as one thing and go into something else. It truly is never too early or never too late for you to get to where you want to be. And there's nothing wrong with being a multi-hyphenate and having loads of bows to your arrow. There's nothing wrong with it at all. And literally the world is your oyster. So go and get it. And thank you.
Thank you, Linda. That was super inspirational. For me, the part that stuck out for me was just go for it. Don't wait till you have everything figured out and have all the equipment in the world to start. Just start it. And there's so many people, so many young people that are in those positions where they want to have everything figured out, want to have the degree, I want to have the equipment. Just start and just see where it goes. And the other part was just networking. You know, it's no point being the most talented person in the world, as you said, or you don't know anyone. So guys, get yourself out there, get yourselves on LinkedIn. And that actually segues us really nicely, thank you, Linda, to our next guest speaker, who's going to be talking about the power of networking on LinkedIn. So, Uli, are you here?
I'm ready. Can you hear me?
Amazing. We can hear you, we can see you, you look great. Let's go for it. Let's go for it.
Excellent. Thanks, everyone. I'm conscious of time, so I'm going to try and run quite quickly. I'm, as it says on the slide, I'm a mom. I've got 2 sons who are in their late 20s. So I've been through the whole education system in terms of up to the point of them getting jobs. And we've had such amazing speakers today. So thanks, everyone. One of the things that I do is I am the founder of an organization called The Smart Kid. And The Smart Kid is kind of similar to Course for Children, because we are working with young people to give them success, to give them, you know, pointers to how they can get the opportunities in life. There's been a lot of talk about networking today. There's been a lot of talk about internships. So on our website, I'll share that at the end. On our website, we have opportunities for young people, so where you can get work experience, internships. I see one of the people who's attended this today. I think he's the son of Irene. Irene is one of the people that I invited, and she's also someone that subscribes to our website. She gets all the opportunities every week. I think one of her daughters has benefited from what we publish. So I work with young people I don't focus on what everybody else focuses on, which is not everybody else, which most people focus on, which is getting the grades. And I want people to get the grades. Without the top grades, you probably can't get into the top universities. But the top grades are not enough to get into the top universities and the top jobs. So what else do you need? You need soft skills, you need experience, work experience, extracurricular activities, you need a good network. And that is why I'm talking about networking today. I've worked in the city myself. I used to interview young people, young graduates. I used to interview people for internships. So I've done all of that. So we've talked, almost everybody who's spoken today has mentioned networking. So, and has mentioned LinkedIn, and Linda specifically even talked about networking, which is good. So what I want to cover is how you network through LinkedIn. So it's one thing for you to know people face to face, maybe in your workplace, in your school, through friends, through family, but you can also network with people that you've never met physically. You can do that digitally through LinkedIn. So if you go to the next slide, please. So basically, what we're going to cover today is why bother with LinkedIn at all, then the what's, the hows and who's, a few quick tips, and then what you should do next. So we're going to the next slide. So LinkedIn, I'm just telling you about, before I talk about the what of LinkedIn, let's talk about, there is that saying that it's not just what you know, it is who you know. And who you know digitally is also important, especially in today's world where everything is now digital. And LinkedIn is that forum that helps you to know people digitally. Okay, let's keep moving. So in this, it says, Richard Branson said something, which is that in this digital age, it doesn't really matter where you are. So you could be here in the UK, in Canary Wharf, you could be in the Caribbean. Opportunities are waiting everywhere. And because of the fact that everything is digital, it's easy to access things. Look, I talked earlier on about the fact that I post opportunities onto our website. A lot of the opportunities that we post now are virtual opportunities, which is fantastic, because before, some of the opportunities, like if you lived in London and the opportunity was in Birmingham, you were not able to attend. But if it's digital, you're able to get there. So work experience has actually become easier because there is virtual work experience that you can grasp online. And it's not just work experience. Networking has become easier because if you've got a LinkedIn profile, then you're able to access and meet people digitally. So let's go to the next slide. What exactly is LinkedIn is what I want us to cover. So what is it? It's a professional networking site. So remember, it's some people see it as social media. Yes, it is, but it's the professional arm of social media. And it's for people, as long as you're 16 and above, you can have a LinkedIn account. So I just wanted to check here how many people have got a LinkedIn account. If you raise your digital hand, please, if you've got a LinkedIn account. I just want to check, because we keep going on about LinkedIn, and I want to see, maybe I'm preaching to the converted. Okay, I can see Sadiq Dikachi. Okay, I can see Titi has it. I can see Michael. Hello, everyone else. Are you on LinkedIn or not? I can't see any other hands. So this is very important. Okay, I can see a few more talks has got it. So has Rodney. All right, a lot of our audience that is not a guest speaker tonight does not have LinkedIn, and that is not good enough. So as long as you are 16 and above, you have no reason not to have a LinkedIn account. And you can start from today, okay? So it's not that difficult to set up your LinkedIn. Of course, you need to set it up professionally, but it's important that you know that it's a very useful tool for networking. Let's go to the next slide, because I just want to tell you a bit more about LinkedIn. Every minute, yeah, at least 6 people are being hired through LinkedIn. So it's very powerful. All over the world, people use it. About 810 million people use LinkedIn. And within the few minutes I've been speaking, at least 6 people per minute have been hired through LinkedIn. You don't need to know people before you actually get hired on LinkedIn. I've had 2 or 3 jobs where I did not know anybody. I didn't even apply for the job. I was reached out to because I had a strong LinkedIn profile. And every day I still get people reaching out to me. Maybe I don't want the job, so that's a different matter. But people reach out to me through LinkedIn. And guess what? If you're thinking you're too young to use LinkedIn, that's not true. If you go to the next slide, please, you see that 20% of the users, 20-point-something% actually, are aged 18 to 24. So it's not an excuse that you are young. Okay, the largest group are the ones that are aged 25 to 34, but under 25s are the second largest group. So there is no excuse not to be on LinkedIn. So I run programs like the one we're on right now as well. And in fact, for some of those programs, I have reached out to students on LinkedIn and asked them, can you come and speak at my program? And I've had a stronger network through that. Even I think one of the speakers tonight came through somebody that I met on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is very, very powerful. Okay, let's keep going. So we now know what LinkedIn is. It's useful, but how do you use LinkedIn? You need to be, so it's one thing to set up a profile, but we all know those people. Somebody's got an Instagram account, they never use it. They have a Snapchat account, they never use it. In the same way, you cannot have a LinkedIn account and not use it and expect it to yield results. You need to be present. So first thing, you have to be there. You need to have set up the account, but you need to be noticeable. Now, even though you are noticeable, you don't want to be noticeable in an obnoxious manner. Remember, it's a professional networking site, so you need to be professional. So whatever you like on there, whatever you post on there, keep it professional. Look, LinkedIn is your public CV. So we all have our CVs, right? But this is your public CV. It's your public profile. If you go there to mess it up, then you're effectively telling people that you're a mess. It's your brand. So make it what you want people that are looking for you to see. Put what you want people to know about you, how you want them to feel about you. So if I mention a brand now and I say Coca-Cola, people have an image. They can see the logo, they know what Coca-Cola is. If I said Google, I think it was Kachi talked about the fact that, talked about the fact that he works with Google. Straight away, all of us know what Google is. So it's important that your LinkedIn is where you put your brand. That is your professional brand. So it's important that you create a profile in a way that reflects what you want people to see. It's important that you do not post things that are meant for Facebook, Snapchat, or Instagram on LinkedIn. you keep it professional, but it's also important that you are noticed, that you actually post regularly. And we'll talk about the things that you post regularly. So first thing you need to do is you need to create a profile. Then you need to connect with people without hounding them, okay? So wherever, if you've worked in a place before or you've gone for work experience in a place, the people you meet there, reach out to them, connect with them on LinkedIn. That's how you start to grow that network. People that you know that are your colleagues, your schoolmates, connect with them on LinkedIn, because you know what, when one of them gets a job, you can say congratulations, and when somebody mentions your name pops up on LinkedIn. So basically, connect with people that you've worked with, people you've gone to school with, work experiences you've attended, courses that you've attended. That is how you start connecting with people. Post regularly. So I'm not saying spam the whole thing. You don't even have to post more than once a week. It's not like your other social media sites, but posting regularly, maybe once a week, once in 2 weeks, makes you get more engagement, makes people know who you are. If you've got so for example, I think it was one of the ones we had earlier on, was it Derichi showed a picture of, I can't remember whether it was Derichi or Rodney, there was a picture of where he was many years ago when he was, maybe it was when Rodney was in Hong Kong. Anyway, there was a picture, and it was a professional picture. It wasn't a picture where people's shirts were unbuttoned or anything like that. That kind of picture, you could put it on LinkedIn and say, oh, throwback. I remember when I did this 5 years ago or 10 years ago. This is what catapulted my career to where I am today. You know, just things like that, but not anything that is obnoxious and belongs to Facebook. Career related, professional. Then I think when Lola was speaking earlier on, she talked about joining groups, very important. So groups that are of interest, join them on LinkedIn. The other thing I wanted to say is that it's not just it's not just about LinkedIn is give and take. So if you want to be noticed on LinkedIn, congratulate other people when they're successful. Don't only come there to say, hey, here I am, I'm successful. You need to also congratulate other people when they are successful. So it's give and take. Reach out, promote yourself, but reach out to people. And one thing is this, you can reach out to people that you've never met. That is the beauty of LinkedIn, because maybe you see somebody post something to say, oh, we had a group of students come for work experience in my office last week. You could reach out to them, you could on their public profile where they've said that, say, that sounds fantastic. So now they first of all notice that you've said that sounds fantastic, and they don't know you. Next, you go to connect with them, and then you put a note to say that I was quite interested in what you said about work experience and I wanted to know more and felt it would be useful to connect with you. Now you're connected with them. That doesn't mean you start hounding them on day one, but you could then about a week later or even the same day say, please let me know when next you have such work experience. So such things will help you. Okay, let's keep going, please, on the slides. We're nearly there. Okay, so what are the types of things you post? You can post. I've already talked about one of the things, like a pivotal moment in your career, your key learnings. Maybe you read a book, you went to work experience. One of the ways to really get brownie points when you on LinkedIn is that you've been on this work experience and you now give a shout out to the person that was there that helped you. So shout out to Titi. And it's actually better to use their @ name so that LinkedIn will tell them your name has been mentioned. They're going to go and read that post. Shout out to Titi, who supported me over the 2 weeks when I came to do some work shadowing. Those are the types of things that you put there. Put there what you learned. Put there a course that you've just completed, training that you've attended. For some trainings, you get a digital badge or certificate. Put your digital badge or your certificate on your profile. So what I have done is I've actually created a guide that you can use, so that a quick guide that you can use for your LinkedIn, and you can get that at the end of this. I'm going to put the link in the chat. If we go to the next slide, please. So what I've said is next steps. From today, make up your mind, because I didn't see many hands apart from those of us that are presenting, that you are going to set up your LinkedIn account, especially if you're 16 and above, okay? And then I'm going to put in the chat now the free tips. You can click on that link. As soon as you sign up to it and you click and go into your emails, you'll be able to get the guide. It will be delivered to your inbox. Also, I talked about the fact that every week I publish new opportunities for students. Those are work experience opportunities, because work experience is where you get your network from. You start to build your network, then you can connect with them on LinkedIn. And therefore, at that point, if you go to my website, you will see all sorts of opportunities there, and some are virtual. So there I am. I know that there was not enough time. I'm sorry for going over if I've gone over, but I'm here for Q&A.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bumi. I can definitely testify to a lot of the things that you said, because I'm a product of what LinkedIn, of LinkedIn, right? My life has changed through fundamentally my network on LinkedIn. So I have a super brand on LinkedIn. My brand is huge on LinkedIn. I have about 7,000 followers.
Wow.
And I'm driving huge impact through that platform. So guys, I hope you would take notes, take everything that Bumi said incredibly seriously, because your next big job is going to come from LinkedIn. I guarantee you that. It won't be from Instagram or Snap. Well, it might be, but your next hiring manager is on LinkedIn. All right, cool. So I want to quickly, since we're pretty much close to the end, I want to get all the speakers back. We've got quite a few questions to get through. So just so that we kind of, apologies about the time, guys. But there are some really interesting questions that I've got here. So if all the speakers can come back, Bumi, Rodney, Divinci, Linda, Derici, and Sadiq, Lola as well, if you guys can come back and share and put your camera. We've got some questions for you guys. You guys ready? Yeah, we're going to do this quick fire, all right? So first question we've got for, since Bumi, you were the last person to chat, we're going to throw this first question at you. What is the most inspirational thing that's happened to you through LinkedIn?
I wouldn't know whether one is most inspirational. I think I got a couple of jobs through LinkedIn.
Okay.
What else? Okay, there was a webinar that I ran, and when I posted it on LinkedIn, so many people came to that, and through that I've kind of built my network and built myself a niche in that space, which is in the area of agile program management. Yeah.
Amazing, cool. It's Tisha here as well, actually. We're gonna, if you can put your camera on, we've got a couple of questions for you as well. But sorry, Bumi, sorry to interrupt you. We're going to wrap up then.
That's all right.
Super, great. Linda E, your name just has such a nice ring to it. It just sounds like a DJ. So Linda, a question. If I have low self-confidence, how can I get myself to becoming a social media public figure?
That's a really interesting question, because confidence is where it starts. So I'd say, firstly, it's gonna sound deeper than I want it to sound, right? But try and figure out where your low confidence is coming from. Is it coming from what you've heard from your friends? Is it coming from what you've heard from your family? Like, where is it coming from? Because once you can figure that out, then you can figure out ways to counter it. Because it's so easy to say, oh, just ignore what people are saying that make you feel like you can't do it. Just ignore them. But it's easier said than done. So maybe if you can figure out first and foremost, is it that all my friends around me don't think I can do social media? Is it then, okay, when it comes to your friends, maybe don't share your plans about social media with your friends, since they're going to be discouraging. Is it your siblings? Maybe don't share it with them. So I'd say that's the first thing that someone should do, is try and find out why they are feeling self-confident. Why they're feeling less confident, and then try to actively counteract whatever is causing that feeling. Because listen, you don't have to be the most like, oh my days out there person to get a social media following and to make money from social media. There is a niche for everyone. Some people prefer people who are kind of quiet and reserved. Some people prefer people who are loud and kind of, out there. So there's definitely a niche for everyone.
Super, I put myself on mute there, but that was amazing. I was just saying that was amazing. So find out why you're having low self-confidence and build strategies to counteract that, right? In summary. Great, thank you so much, Linda. Derici, question for you. What excites you most about being a web solutions engineer? And you, like, not what excites you most? Like, what makes you get out of bed today and be like, I love my job? Like what really gets you out of bed?
I'm being the most honest answer is probably the free food at Google, but that's
Thank you. Thanks for being honest.
I don't think people understand, like, if when you're living with your parents and they provide food for you,
Yeah.
the chemistry and the logistics of all of that happening is so completely remote from growing up that when you have to take care of all of that for yourself as an adult, yeah. So just having free food is a big win.
Amazing.
Honestly, the more correct answer is that I really do like to build stuff. Like I said, I like to build stuff for people. It's building software often gets maligned in the media as if it's like, it's people, just coding away at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. without interacting with people. But it's a very people-oriented enterprise. You have to go and show people what you built and see, does this meet your needs? And then they say no. You go back, you make it meet their needs. And so I really like the interaction with people I get out of it.
Dirishi, that's a wonderful answer. Thank you so much. The food at Google is a life changer, I must say. Must save you tons of money. Rodney, question for you. What, in your opinion, is the biggest challenge working or studying or living internationally? Because you were in Hong Kong, obviously.
Oh, what's the biggest challenge? I don't really think there is a big challenge. I think maybe just having the opportunity to go in the first place. But I think once you're out there, maybe just being yourself, because you're in a new environment. You're in a completely new environment. So if you've not gone with any friends, you kind of had to make new friends. If you're studying, you need to try and like keep up to date with your international courses, as well as your courses that you're doing there. I wouldn't say there's anything. I think, I'll say the most challenging part would be definitely just finding your own feet and being yourself and being confident, especially as a young person in a foreign place, a foreign land. I think just being you is probably the most challenging.
Was language ever a barrier?
A little bit. So they speak Cantonese, but a lot of people spoke English, which was really good as well.
That's helpful.
But yeah, no, it's fantastic. Like I said, I would 100% recommend it to everyone and anyone. It doesn't have to be Asia either. It could be America. Well, depends on your taste. Europe as well. What type of culture that you want to get.
Super. Thank you. Sadiq, Mr. Sadiq, is Andrew actually asked the question here, is running a business a risk worth taking when you're young? And kind of second part to that question is, can you give like a 30-second overview about what your business is? Some people asked. So maybe ask the second question first, 30-second overview of what your business is. And second, is running a business a risk worth taking when you're young? Shoot.
So my business, originally it was sports betting and arbitrage. So to kind of simplify that, you're kind of looking to place 2 bets at the same time that cancel each other out in a way that guarantees profits. We are now transitioning to something similar in the crypto space. So doing the same thing using crypto assets.
Thank you.
In terms of taking a risk, is the question, is it worth taking a risk?
Is it worth taking a risk when, starting a business when you're young? Yeah.
I think almost every risk you can think of is worth taking when you're young, because when you get older, it becomes very difficult to take the risk. And for a lot of people, it becomes impossible. That's kind of one of the things that motivated me was when I was young, I used to work at McDonald's. And a lot of people there, they weren't just there for a week or a month or a year. This was their career now. And it's like, you don't have the time. You're working, some people working 8 hours, 10 hours. They don't have a choice. There's no space to, I want to try this, I want to try that. They're stuck. So I think if you have anything that you might be passionate about, or anything you just want to try and you're thinking it's a risk, God gave you youth to take those risks. So just do that.
Super. Thank you for that. And last but not least, a question for Tisha. How do you best optimize your search for internships?
For your search for internship, I think having a good title or idea of the job description that you're looking for. So, for example, I searched for electronic engineering roles, electrical, energy engineers, those kind of things are the things that I searched for because those were what I was interested in. So I think it would be a good idea to do some research into what you'd be interested in learning about and the kind of the career titles associated with those areas, and then looking for roles relevant to that.
Amazing. Thank you. Guys, thank you all so much. You were all amazing speakers. We learned so much from every single one of you. Thank you for the gems, the insight, the advice. And I'm sure everyone here has something to take away, even with just that one thing. So thank you. I'm going to hand it over to Titi to take us home with some announcements, appreciation, maybe a video she wants to send, show you guys. And yeah, and then we'll wrap it up.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Honestly, I've had an amazing time this evening. Definitely, this program is not going away. It's just going to get better and better. We're just going to improve on it each year. So we're meant to watch a video, but we're just going to skip that. And I'm just going to talk us through taking action quickly in 2 minutes. So next slide. And the video I was going to show you was would have been around procrastination. So having heard all this information, you've heard from 5 young speakers, you've heard from 2 other HR professionals, 7 people actually had spoken to you today. They've shared insight, meaningful information. What are you going to do about it? Somebody mentioned, I think in the video or earlier on, that people put in, I think it was Linda that said it actually, that sometimes you just put things aside and say, I'll come back to it. Well, there's a saying there, some day is not a day of the week. It's not. You need to take action. You need to do something about it. You don't, those information, it's not something that you will just put aside and say, oh yeah. You need to make a plan and put something down from today that this information that I've learned today, this is what I'm going to do, because there's no point in you listening to all this, spending 2 hours and you're not doing something, and it's not changing your life. So I'm hoping that information that you've gained from this event today, you're going to put them to good use. I'm hoping that if you have questions after this event, please go to our website, Course for Children, www.courseforchildren.co.uk. At the end of the slide, I think we're going to share our email address as well. Go there, go and ask questions. Tell us specifically who you want that to answer your question, any of the speakers. We'll try and get the questions across to them and get the answer to you. So, but it's important that you make good use of information that you've learned today. So I want to thank you again for staying from 4 to this time around. Before we go, I'm just going to talk quickly about another event that we've got coming up. Okay, so that's the quote that I'll leave us with. It says, if you don't make the time to work on creating the life you want, you're eventually going to be forced to spend a lot of time dealing with the life you don't want. We don't want that. I mentioned that earlier on. That's why you need to expand your horizon. Find that work that makes you happy, not somewhere that you'll be boxed in and you're unhappy. But if you're not expanding your horizon, you wouldn't know what's out there for you to check out, for you to try out. Don't be afraid to take risks. You're young. That's why I think it was Sadiq that said, God gave us this youthful age. That's when you can try out new things. Okay. So moving on to the program that we've got coming up. Another initiative, I mentioned it earlier on, also delivered by a Course for Children, and it's Truly to Hero Awards. Young people up to age of 18 that you would like to recognize, you want them to be, they've done very well. Could be yourself, could be your friend, mothers, fathers, they could nominate their children. Anybody can nominate, to be honest, as long as you're from 7 up to 18, age 7 to 18, it's fine. And what we do is we leave the rest to us and we'll celebrate them in a very, very beautiful way. So nomination lines is going to open on the 1st of August. That's our website, www.trulytohero.com. Okay. And before we go, I think it's important that we get your feedback. So please, I'm going to ask you again to go to Slido. If you have enjoyed this session today, please go to Slido and and just go and give us your feedback. And it doesn't, and if you haven't, please say it. If you didn't enjoy yourself, please say it. So this is so that we can improve on the way we present the program next time. But please, we need those feedback. That is what we're going to pitch to the world so that other young people next year would want to come and learn. If you've learned something, then go there, go and give back with your feedback. So once again, I want to thank all our speakers. I want to thank Linda. Thank you, Dirichi. Thank you, Sadiq, Rodney. Thank you so much, Bumi. I'm really super grateful. Lola, thank you. And my lovely Tisha, thank you so much for your help. And I'll leave it, I think I'll hand over to Michael. I think people were asking questions around videos. Yes.
Yep. They're going to be, yes. Titi, they're recorded and going to be on the website.
Yeah, right? Yeah, they're going to be recorded. They'll be shared on our website and our YouTube pages.
Super. Well, thank you so much, Titi. Again, I just wanted to extend our gratitude for all our speakers. Thank you so much. We're all awesome. I'm glad. Thanks, Jesse, for saying you learned something. That's all we hope for. That was the whole point of all of this, is for you to take something away and to apply and to see results. And yeah, we'll be back again. Thank you all. Yes.
Can I just say something just quickly?
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Just to encourage people as to how Sunday is not a day of the week. Yeah, it's a very important. I love that. I screen grabbed it. I'm going to quote it on my page. But basically, even as we sat here, because of you mentioned LinkedIn, I went and I linked up with you, Michael, and I've linked up with Talks as well. So networking happens even from here. Guys, don't run away without networking with each other if you can.
Yeah, and you know what? If all the speakers can, just drop your LinkedIn in the chat box, right? Just put it in the chat box, and then everyone that's on here we can all connect with each other, including speakers, listeners. That's my LinkedIn there. Connect with me. I'll accept the LinkedIn connection. And yeah, let's already leave here with a bigger network than we did coming in.
So thank you, Talks. I'm linking definitely. Rodney, good. I've been looking for Rodney. I've not seen him. Right? Yeah. So yeah, thank you, and Sadiq as well. I'll get in touch. Great information. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dirichi. I'll be connecting.
And we'll see you next year.
See you next year, guys. Yeah. Ciao.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
Thank you for hosting.
Bye.